Right, in video number 2, I would like to ask you, Jayaji, you have interacted with the PhD Chamber of Commerce and FICCI at different stages. What would you suggest to make culture and art to be a major foreign exchange earner for the country? What can be done?
Well, for being an earner, we have to set up both in India very many more marketing establishments, I believe, like Delhi Haat, because that is where you see India at its most natural. If you have malls and you have shops in them, craftspeople can't compete in presentation, branding, and all the kind of style they add on to their product. And I do not believe that malls suit craftspeople. Individual shops are very expensive, and the Haat is therefore the best form of marketing, which even very many corporate offices which have been asked to study Delhi Haat as a model have found that it's the best idea for crafts marketing and handloom marketing. And more people, more craftspeople rotationally get benefit out of that. They also, when the individual comes to sell, the maker comes to sell and meets the customer's curiosity is aroused. They ask them about the skill, they ask them about their community, where they come from, and it creates a far bigger educational sort of environment and an appreciation of India's culture as a whole, and not just a product which has no story behind it. So that, I believe, is the best thing. But for export, the problem with export is that importers want large quantities at the cheapest rates. And when you export something, there are about 8 levels of markups. Those markups are of fixed costs like storage, shipping, retailing, and those percentages don't go down. So the person whose costs have to be diminished are the craftspeople. So they earn very little. They have to make huge quantities which cannot be made by hand. So there are imitation machine made goods that come instead. So I am not a great fan of export unless we can export to niche markets in multiple numbers. So in many places nowadays in the world, there is something like slow fashion, so slow food, a better appreciation of the natural and the organic. We have to target an audience like that, for which countries like Japan is always been very good, and now the West is also becoming conscious that their kind of industrialization and production has caused this disastrous climate change, and it is our craftspeople who can help prevent it. So I hope that that kind of educational message with our marketing will help a long way.
You spoke about Delhi Haat. Over the years, you've been associated with it. Do you think that some flaws, shortcomings, they have been rectified and it is now in better managed?
Quite the opposite.
Okay.
The first 10 years it was exactly as it should have been. It was very genuine, the right people came, craftspeople were there was a lot of mela and happy atmosphere. In fact, somebody I remember once wrote in the Hindustan Times, I wish all of India was like Delhi Haat.
Okay.
It was a lovely thing to say, and then once I asked a parking lot attendant, I said, बहुत कोहरा है, बहुत बारिश और ठंड हो रही है, इतनी पार्किंग में जगह क्यों नहीं है, इतनी गाड़ी क्यों है? So he said, मैम इधर लोग मन बहलाने के लिए आते हैं. So this, I was always very happy that I was making the craftsperson happy and the customer
and
happy.
Footfalls, yes.
And the customer always came up to me and
Yes.
said, thank you so much for doing this. Today, 80% or more are taken over by traders who don't know the product, who have not made it. They have bought it wholesale from somewhere. Then they bargain, which is not something that should be done. It makes our craftspeople suffer. And they don't leave. They keep the shop and they pay lakhs of rupees, which the craftsperson can't afford. So the whole thing has gone completely out of the hands.
Purpose has been defeated.
Absolutely defeated, and I have written many articles. I've been to the High Court, I've been to every chief minister and minister I could think of. But somehow people either genuinely say, tell us what to do, or say, okay, we'll do something, but nothing seems to change.
Another question that comes to my mind is that you were involved in getting India and some of the South Asian SAARC countries together with a view to improve the lot of their artisans and bring them on a bigger platform. Now, if I was to talk with regard to India and Pakistan, now this sort of interaction between the two, can it lead to some sort of a track to diplomacy to bring the two countries together?
If it's left to people like us, yes, because the first program I did of that nature was at Delhi Haat, and we devised a lovely name for it, Dustkari. So it was like Dustkari and Dosti, and I had 10 craftspeople come from Pakistan with their counterparts from India, and it was such a wonderful exercise. They were all hugging each other by the end. They said, after our own country, this is the best country we have ever been to. And after that, I remember one lady came up and she said, oh, this name, I remember that there was a shop of this name in Lucknow. And he said, yes, that was my father's shop.
Okay.
So then they were so excited to meet each other. He telephoned Pakistan, got his father on the phone, and he said, dear, talk to a lady who remembers your shop.
Okay.
And then I still have an artisan from Pakistan,
yes,
who phones me and said, आप हमें कब दोबारा बुला रहे हैं?
yes,
A chappal maker. So they're very exciting exchanges that took place. Also from Kutch, the Ajrak printing, block printing people,
yes,
they are originally from the common Sindh.
Kutch, okay,
And the Sindh from Pakistan also came,
yes,
and they brought their printer.
yes,
And today our person from Kutch is sending him raw materials
okay.
because he can't get them in Pakistan.
Now, why was that sort of experiment not repeated?
Sadly, I don't think that either government believes enough in the craft and in the small man. I always said, you are sending parliament delegations, maybe cricket matches when things are okay. There are journalists who go, there are buddhijeevis who go. Why not the simple people?
Yes.
Because the simple people go back to their villages and spread the news much better. And once I called a group of just women from Pakistan. They had to come crossing over the Wagah border, and they were so frightened. Their families told them, your hands and legs will get chopped off if you go. And she said, we just love everybody here, sabse gala milane ki man kar raha hai. So it's just wrong, misunderstanding spread on both sides. And I think craftspeople and others of this level in society are much better goodwill ambassadors.
Okay.
And I wish the governments would take this seriously.
Thanks. This brings us to the end of this video, and the next video we would talk about one of your books and written work. Thank you.